Hello, book nerds. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about all the books that I read in the month of March. All right, guys, so I read a total of 11 books in the month of March. It is a decently good reading month for me, and we're just going to get into it. I'm going to talk about them in order that I read them, and I'm going to try to share some quotes along with the books that I read. So, the first book that I read this month was The Lady's Mine by Francine Rivers. This was Oshina's book club pick for February, but I didn't pick it up till like almost the end of the month, so I finished and read a good bit of it in March. And I only rated this one a 3.5 stars. It was not my favorite by Francine, but it was okay. I did enjoy like the lightheartedness of it because this one is a lot less heavy than others, but there was just something that wasn't clicking for me quite like some of her others have. So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like the best. It was just kind of pleasant. It also just took me a bit longer to read. Francine Rivers is a long, she's kind of she writes big books, but I tend to still speed through them, and this one I was a bit slower paced with. So, but my quote for this one is: "War brought out the worst in humankind. Even when the cause was just, no one came out unscathed." All right, and then the second book that I read in the month of March was Edenbrooke by Julie Ann Donaldson. Yes, I jumped on this train. And guys, I'm so happy I did. This was another 5-star read for me. Like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a month so far that I haven't had a 5-star read, and that's just insane to me. I did buddy read this with a couple of ladies here. I believe Alma, Cece, Christy was in the chat. I don't know if she reread it or not, but she just recently read it. So she's been in all the chats, and Tanya. So it was so much fun to be able to chat about it. And there's also like a little mystery aspect all throughout this book, too. So I wasn't expecting that. I just really enjoyed it. It was such a cute, sweet story. And guys, the two of these characters, Mary Ann and Philip, reminded me so much of me and my husband. Oh my goodness, I was like, so much of this is deja vu, and this is exactly like how we were or I was, and it was just adorable, and I needed it. I needed all that cuteness and nostalgia coursing through my veins. So very much loved this one and do highly, highly recommend. If you are a Regency fan or just a romance fan, like go and get it now. So the quote that I wrote down for this one was, "When you are not with me, I am left with nothing but longing for you." All right, and then next I read another Regency romance, which was To Charm a Lady by Joanna Barker. And I did realize that this was the second in a series. I think like I could still go back and read the first one because they're lightly mentioned, but I do know a little bit about what happens in the first one because of this book. So this is a best friends brothers trope, and they're at a house party together for like a week. Um, and it was really cute. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it at first, but it turned out to be really, really cute. I rated it a 4.5 stars. My first Regency to not be a 5 stars, but with it still being 4.5, I think I'm like just really becoming a Regency fan and lover. And I do love this cover because I have problems with some of the Regency covers. Okay. I think we need to just step up our game on some of them, guys. But just my opinion. I do have a reading vlog with this one in it, so I'll link that. But yes, I very much enjoyed this one. And my quote for this one was, "He does not gaze at you like someone he is trying to help," she said. "He gazes at you as if there is nothing else in the world worth looking at." So cute. Okay, next, also in that reading vlog, was The Cursed Princess Club. This is volume 5 by Lambcat. This is just a cute little graphic novel, kind of like upper YA. It does have a little bit of content, but aside from that content, it is so cute and funny. Again, a little bit of content, a little bit of like more like not too kid friendly jokes type of thing, but it makes me laugh out loud. It makes me happy, and it hasn't crossed the line for me personally, but the content does keep it from being a 5 stars. The series is like all of them have been 4.5 stars so far. So, and I'll have all that content and stuff down below, but I'm really, really enjoying the series as a whole. And I did not have a quote for that one because So many of them are just like so out of context. I didn't even think about this, and it's a graphic novel. There is a part where our main character Gwendolyn, she's trying to like throw a like dinner party, and she's looking at like this little like etiquette manner list thing, and it's like list of do nots and list of do's and stuff, and it says do not say crap. And then it says do say I say poppycock. And I was like, who says poppycock? I don't know why that was so funny to me. I'm a weird person, but if you have a similar sense of humor, you might like it. Who knows? Then I read The Love Audit by Anna Conwell. I actually listened to this one on audiobook this month, and I was supposed to read this in February. My hold took like a month to come in, so nonetheless, it got done, and I enjoyed the audiobook okay. It took me a little bit to get into it, but I enjoyed it. And this is not a Christian, it is just a clean like rom-com, but it did have some very light and like faith themes and elements. So I'm not sure if Anna Conwell is a Christian or what, but there was very light things like that in it. And it was honestly really clean, really nice. There wasn't a whole lot of tension or anything like that. It's a workplace type of romance, kind of like a rivals, enemies to lovers. But yeah, I did end up enjoying it pretty well. I rated it a 4 stars. And my quote for that one is the only opinions that matter in a relationship are yours, his, and God's. So see, little like mentions and faith themes throughout. It was interesting. So all right, and then I reread Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I really, really loved this book. Now, saying that, I only rate this book about a 4 stars, and it does have a lot of language in it. And this is kind of, from what I've been hearing and from the other stuff I've tried to read by her, kind of some of the least amount of language, but it still had quite a bit. It had more than I remembered it having. And there is some like stupid high school stuff. I would say upper YA, high school type age for it. But it does have a super cute romance and stuff. And I love the like next door neighbor, rivals to best friends to lovers type of vibe going on here, and all the movie references. It was a lot of fun. I did like highlight a little bit throughout it. So yeah, I enjoyed my reread of it, and I've got some more like content things written down, all the cuss words and all that stuff, which was a task, let me tell you. But my quote for this one was, "You look best when you're you." So very cute. All right, next I finished Positively Penelope by Pepper Basham. This is the second in the Skymore series, and this is the first one is very like bookish quote type of esque, and this one following Penelope is very kind of musical Broadway esque. So I'm a very musical Broadway girly myself. So I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna love this one, and I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it, but I don't know, there was just something that wasn't quite hitting all the way. And I don't know if it's the way she does the format for these books or what, but it takes me so long to like really, really get into it and really, really get invested for some reason. I don't know why for these, because there are others by her, like Sense and Suitability is a 5-star for me. I don't even know where it is right now. There it is. So, and Authentically Izzy too was, I think, a 4.5 or a 4.75. Like I was like, this is so close to a 5-star, but this one is kind of sitting at that 4-star range, maybe a 4.5, but I'm not positive. So, and I did love the theater stuff and the references. There's just something about the way that she does this series in particular with the writing and the way it's told, that it's just so much slower paced to me, and that honestly like does affect my rating a little bit with the way I rate. So don't hate me, but I liked it. It was cute. So, and the quote that I had for that one was, "But at the end of the performance, there's the ever after. And I want someone for the ever after part, when the audience is gone and the stage is empty and the only crowd we're in front of is each other." Super cute. And the next one I read was, oh, I don't hit myself in the face with that. That was close. Dreams and Dragon Wings by Ashley Willingham. Guys, we've been hearing raves of Ashley Willingham, and I read it. I get it. Don't hate me. This is only a 4 stars for me. That's a pretty good and high rating for me for fantasy. I'm not a giant fantasy girly. I'm definitely getting more into the fantasy genre, but I'm not like super giant fantasy girly, especially when it's more like high fantasy and like the world is like completely different and everything. So, this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling with like witch dragons, obviously, and it's a gender flipped retelling. So, I enjoyed it. I really did. And honestly, the faith threads, especially throughout like the second half, they were really well done. And I liked the way she did it. There was something about her writing. I just felt like we weren't getting anywhere for a lot of the book. Like for the first half of the book, at least, I was like, this is really slow going and what's going on. And in all throughout the story, I kind of feel like not a ton happened, but then it also kind of did. So I don't know, for me, some of that pacing and stuff, and then just some of the high fantasy stuff that I'm not as into. Um, but I still really liked it. 4 stars. And I liked the way she wove the faith elements into it. And there were like a few quotes that I really liked and stuff. So I'm not writing her off as an author by any means. I'm definitely very excited after reading this to read other things by her. I think I could probably very much enjoy other things more than this one, if that makes sense. But this one wasn't bad. It just wasn't a favorite for me. So please don't hate me, Kay. And my quote for that one was, "We need not be like him. We can choose to walk the harder path." All right, and then the 9th book that I read this month was The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, Volume 3. And I also listened to this one on audiobook, and I did another buddy read with Miss Alma over at Alma's Book Journey. So I am very much enjoying buddy reading with her. I was a little bit off my game, especially towards the end there. I've had some major life stuff going on. Not fun stuff. Please pray for me and my husband especially right now. But yeah, so thank you for bearing with me, Alma. I appreciate it. Nonetheless, I did get it done and I enjoyed it. These are all sat at 3.5 stars for me. They're fun and witty and I enjoy them while I'm reading them, but I don't typically think of them or think on them too much when I'm done with it. But I always enjoy picking up the next one. So my quote from this one was, "I learned a long time ago that my happiness has to be separate from things beyond my control." And then next was Heir to Edenbrooke. Yes, after reading Edenbrooke, I had to pick up Julian Donaldson's little prequel novella that follows Philip. So I wish we would have gotten more, honestly. This was a 4 stars for me, and that was because the beginning was a little bit slow and because we didn't get a lot. But honestly, the more it was picking up, the more I was liking it, and the more I was like, I want more. I want all of it from Philip's side. So it was still good, and I highly recommend if you love Edenbrooke to go pick it up. It was a really fun read, but the quote that I picked for this one was, "But what is the heart of a man if not his actions, his words, the way he interacts with the world around him? That is the measure of a man." All right, and then the last one, which I technically haven't finished yet, but it's a graphic novel, and I've got 2 days. I'm going to finish it. And that's Tech Everlasting. This is by Natalie Babbitt's, but it was adapted and illustrated by Kay Woodman Manyard. So I'm really enjoying this. I have technically read Tuck Everlasting before. I thought I hadn't, but then I was like, wait a minute. Yes, you have, Kadri. I've also seen the musical like too many times to count. We're not going to talk about that. So I know the story very well, and I'm enjoying it. The art and illustrations are really cool. A nice color tone. It really matches like this kind of like sunset color tone. So I've really been enjoying that. And I don't know what I'm reading it right now, but I'll have it put on the screen when I edit this because I'll know by that time. The quote for this book that I picked out was, "Don't be afraid of death. Be afraid of an unlived life. You don't have to live forever. You just have to live." All right, guys, that is the 11 books that I've read this month. My favorite was obviously Edenbrooke by Julianne Donaldson. I mean, come on. It was my 5-star. Of course, it was my favorite. And my least favorite What was my least favorite? I think my least favorite was The Lady's Mine by Francine Rivers, which is interesting. I didn't have anything under a 3.5 star though. So hey, there's that. But yeah, it was The Lady's Mine. And I did kind of soft DNF what is Reformed theology for my book club. I just was unable to renew it through the library, and they didn't have the audio. And I was like, I've been trying to do this, and now we're on to the next book. So I soft DNF'd it. I would like to try it again at some point, but it just wasn't. It wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was more in the history of Reformed theology than what it actually is in today's implication. A lot through like a lot of churches that are using that term, and that's kind of what I was more interested in. But there were still some really interesting things. I was just having a very slow go of it, and I was like, I kind of need the audio, and I can't get the audio for a very long time through my library. So anyway, that was the soft DNF. That's it. All right. So please let me know down below what was your favorite book in the month of March and what was your least favorite book in the month of March. And do you think that I would like either of them? Because I mean, we all have different tastes. So, my least favorite could be one of your favorites and vice versa. You never know. Thank you so much for watching. Leave those down below. I'd love to look at them. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, also and you don't want to tell me or you don't have favorites or whatever, leave me a little blue heart in honor of my sweet, sweet husband, Josh, who, Lord willing, will be home with us soon. So thank you guys so, so much. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.